on, everybody? You're back with Shades, and we're gonna continue our Let's Play of Katawa Shoujo. And last time we left off, we have read that faded letter that we were going to get from Iwanako back from whatever academy that Hisa went to before, and he's now depressed about it. So now we're just gonna continue with that. Thus the languid days of mid-June passed by. I mailed my letter to Iwanako and received no reply, as expected, because she a basic bitch. We don't need her anymore, we got Rin. Having decided to ditch the old me, I start observing my fellow students even closer than I did before, hoping to understand how other people cope with their own issues. I start seeing things I didn't before. It makes me wonder if I've been wrong twice. Superficially, everyone is abnormal, yet so strikingly normal that it shocked me at first. They're not I guess abnormal is not the wrong word, it's just not the right word to say. I admired the way my schoolmates turned my prejudices around just like that, simply by being themselves. Now that I've gotten used to it, I've begun noticing other kinds of tones in the people surrounding me every day. There's a soft, numb sadness around me. I can see the effort everyone has just to get through the day, and how it weighs on their shoulders, like it weighs on mine. Even the brightest smile is slightly subdued. Every outburst of annoyance just slightly dampened. It's subtle, but it's definitely there. I try to think what it means, what I can learn from others. I wonder if deep down everyone is as lost as I am. Is there even one person in here who has truly found peace? I start to feel doubtful about myself once again. To be fair, no one really finds peace. It's a lot of faking it till you make it kind of bullshit. In that, like, people never really are fully happy with themselves or their situation or their life until, like, they find... until, like, I don't know, they just realize they're happy with what they have or whatever. But, like, so, like, especially, like, in high school and things like that, you're kind of just waiting for something to happen, for your moment to shine, really. So, like, I don't know. No one really finds peace. You find contentment in the regularity of your current life, if that makes sense. I can't decide whether these people are happy, unhappy, or if they've just learned to cope and now live in an unfeeling limbo like I did all spring. I escape from these feelings into the towering piles of books I carry to my room from Yuko's sanctuary. After realizing this will just shut me down even more, I start to go to the art club's room more often, usually whenever I can. Rin too seems to spend more time in there than her own classroom. I often see her totter toward the door at the very end of our corridor. That wooden door and the room behind it, smelling of paint and paper, seem to mean more to her than the rest of the world combined. She says that she has special permission to use the room, which I don't doubt at all. I don't think Nomiya would deny Rin anything. He seems to dote on her like an uncle upon a favorite niece. The object of his affection, however, has no favorites. She says she appreciates the teacher a lot for going the extra mile for her sake, but even when she says that, her expression is the same as always. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna zoom in the camera a little bit. It's as if she was talking about a particularly unremarkable rock that she saw the other day. I can't really figure out their relationship. Rin doesn't seem to let anyone close. I don't think even Emmy could say she crossed the gap that seems to separate Rin from the rest of the world. I don't understand it. She seems so indifferent, yet so passionate at the same time. Somewhere the school bell rings, the last call of the day. I realize I've been zoning out for who knows how long. Days I sit up straighter, trying to look as inconspicuous as possible. The pungent smell of linseed oil and turpentine mix in my nostrils as I draw a deep breath. I feel drowsy and lightheaded. It's already this late, a few club members leave early, so it's just me, Rin, the teacher, and two other girls who are also about to leave. Oh, this is the CG from her intro. Rin is sitting to my right, slowly working on a painting while I'm idling the time away. I don't think she realizes I've been watching her this whole time. Like a creep! With a nimble move of her delicate ankle, she dips the brush into a crimson paint and presses it lightly onto the canvas. A stain spreads around, as if the brush was bleeding. Ew, feet fetish. I'm kidding. This isn't meant for that. This isn't meant to be like that. But, I can definitely see people being like, oh, the feet, I'm not into feet per se. I think feet are gross. But I'm not gonna knock people for doing that. But I will knock people for being like, oh my god, this is perfect joy. I'm like, ew, you're fetishizing a person with no arms. Her progress has slowed down to a crawl. By now I've learned that this is dangerous for her technique, as the paint must not be allowed to dry before she's finished. It occurs to me that I'm literally watching paint dry, and yet somehow I'm not feeling bored, despite spacing out just now. Most of the time, the art club is very relaxed and free form, apart from times when Nomiya gets really excited about some technique or style he wants to teach us about. Everyone is free to pursue their own interests. Lacking one, I keep floating around without a direction. I try this and that, but nothing really leaves me with a deeper impression, not to mention that I don't seem to have a special knack for anything. Yo, I know that feeling! I took like I said before, when I was in art class in middle school, a lot of times I would just flip from one form of art to another without really latching onto anything. I just thought, oh, this is fun. This is some bullshit that I can waste time with, and it's an elective that I enjoy. But what I didn't realize at the time was that I'm a very artistic mind. I'm a very artistic person, but I just didn't artistic person. I just didn't find that art form that really stuck with me. And today I found that it's creative writing, not visual art. As much as I would love to get into visual art, it just takes a lot of time and patience, and I have never really cultivated it at the right time. To be fair, you can start at any time. It's just the wall is the wall is the learning curve is huge, guys. Same with creative writing, but I've been doing that for a lot longer, and I have a set skill and tone and style now. Well, I did get praised for my attempt at watercolors, and I felt pretty good about that myself, but that's it. I suppose that's to be expected. I joined art club mostly on a whim, after all. I'm thinking that maybe I should quit the club if it's going to be this pointless, but there's nothing really wrong with pointlessness, and I can't exactly say that I'm unhappy. Unsatisfied, maybe, but I've got only myself to blame for that. Also, excuse my beard, it's No Shave November, so just participating in that for the fun of it. As the pair of girls exit the club room with a cheerful bye-bye, Nomiya stands up from his desk. His chair scoots back with a loud screech that breaks the harmony of the quiet afternoon. Hang on, guys, just clean my glasses real quick. It's like smudging, and my lighting makes it very noticeable to see the smudging. He taps a pile of papers in his hand twice against the tabletop in order to straighten them, then stretches his back. I have a faculty meeting to attend, so I can't stay. I'll have to do some paperwork later, so if you want to stay, we can talk then. Sorry about this. There are two people here, but he's really talking to only one of us. Nomiya spends extra hours of his time mentoring Rin after official club hours are over. I'll bet he'd like to discuss his plan of getting Rin's art into a gallery a little more. It's alright. I think I'll probably be here, but it's not a big deal if I'm not. I don't really have much going now. Rin answers without moving her eyes from her work in progress. The tone of her voice is neither the polite kind expected when talking to a teacher, nor her usual monotone. So I won't need to send a search party after if you aren't here. Yes, no thanks. I don't like to party. We can talk later. Good girl. Smiling, the teacher picks up the rest of his papers and makes his way to the door. I glance at the clock above it, then at my watch to double-check. They're 3 minutes apart, but nevertheless the club meeting time is over. Rin seems intent on staying here to work on her piece while waiting for the teacher. I can't quite imagine what their one-on-one time would be like. Would they actually discuss anything? Rin is always so subdued when she talks, and when she does say something, it's difficult to understand what she's talking about. Maybe Nomiya just talks endlessly like he does at the club meetings, letting Rin absorb what she will from his infinite well of art knowledge, like a sunflower turning to face the glowing sun. Do you mind if I stay? I thought maybe I'd give watercolors another try. I blurt out the excuse sort of accidentally, embarrassing myself. Rin doesn't take her eyes off her painting. Okay. I shift around in my chair, then fetching a cup of water, brushes, colors, and some paper. The sound of my footsteps invades the still afternoon air. Before starting, I try to recall what the teacher told us, and more importantly, an important philosophy of the medium. Working with watercolors means more with water than working with color. I try to keep that in mind, and I dip my tiny sable brush into the water cup. I can never figure out watercoloring. It's always like super runny, and like I get the medium is used to be like to more easily collide colors and give it the blotchy look on purpose. It's just I could never do it in a way that I found satisfactory. I like clear, crisp lines, which is why I really like digital art, because digital art just seems more crisp to me unless it's intended to be a sort of uncontrolled mess. And even then, like certain uncontrolled messes I enjoy, but I prefer digital art. Whatever. It's just I'm very spoiled, I suppose, with like modern art in that like it's clean. I prefer clean art. I'm not really a big fan of paintings and physical art, to be honest. Unless the physical art is just printed out. I don't know. Like physical art is always just like something that's so dirty to me. I prefer clean, but that's just my personal bias. I'm mixing yellow and blue, trying to capture the sunlit treetops outside of the one window. The sun is low, so the yellows are more pronounced and everything looks darker. I still can't quite connect what I see with what my hands does with the paints, but it's a passable attempt for my level. After a while, I start losing my focus to move to the paper instead, deciding to watch Rin work for a while. That little while stretches first into a long while, then a really long while. Rin paints, her entire being fully concentrated on the brush between her slender toes and the paint coming to life with one stroke at a time. She seems determined and yet at the same time relaxed, effortlessly moving the brush around, never hesitating. Colors meet and part, mix and cover each other on the canvas, bending to her quiet will. I know this feeling. Like you're tense and relaxed at the same time. It's a very hard to describe focus. I've been in this state when I'm writing, where I just like where my hands keep typing. My mind feels relaxed, but it's super focused on the task, and it's like, how do I word this? How do I do this? How do I do that? And the words just come out and like it's free flow. It's a really good feeling. But I guess looking at someone doing that, it's kind of like, oh my god, you're tense yet relaxed. It's because like it's like a perfect focus on the creative work in front of you. It's like there's no worry right then and there as you were just creating, rather than looking at it and being like, what could I do with this that I could do next time? What can I improve on this that I could do next time? It's a really interesting form of creativity. And once again, creativity is always so hard to describe in a way that lets people like I guess the normies understand it, because not everyone's gonna be an artistic person. So it's kind of like give and take here. It's like, I know this state is I know what I want. I'm doing it, and I'm not letting myself stop me. I don't know. It's hard to describe. I don't know anything about composition, structure, or any of that stuff, but I really like Rin's paintings. I like how she paints. As usual, the silence between us compels me to speak rather than merely wait for her to open up. She might end up saying nothing at all. Do you mind if we talk? I don't mind. I kind of want to ask more about why you get so weird about this thing the teacher wants to arrange for you. Rin picks up a tube of paint and squeezes it between her toes on a palette, almost as easily as someone with opposable thumbs would. Taking up a brush again, she replies. A lot of things. And some not things. Unthings. I don't think that's a word. Do you want to talk about it? I try to reach out to her clumsily, ignoring this embarrassing feeling of awkwardness. Rin keeps her focus on the painting, spinning more and more paint on the canvas, her lips forming a perfectly straight line as she concentrates on the job. Not really. Talking is hard. I mean, it's not hard. I'm talking even now, but saying the right things is really hard for me. That feeling I know also. No matter what, I can't say the things I want. Language is limited. Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to go into another diatribe, but like, language is a very limited thing. We have words with certain definitions. I'm going into a diatribe. Words only have so much meaning, and certain combinations of words often come out wrong. And let's be honest, as a listener, you can never fully understand what the person intends with their words. Words are limited. That sounds weird. It's true. I say all kinds of things that I don't really mean at the time, and sometimes I forget words and then I use the wrong words. I can come up with new words for things that already have some. That's the worst thing. I get really nervous and everything comes out a mess, and even I don't really understand what I want to say. I think there's something wrong with me that makes me like this. Remember when I said that I can only think of 4 things at the same time? I nod wordlessly. It's not really 4. I mean, it is 4, but everything else is also kind of there in the background, like being at an amusement park and a beehive at the same time, but that's not the point. I used to do better, like 6 or 7 things. I think so, at least. I feel like I'm becoming dumber. I think everyone has times when they feel like they can't say the right things. But it's there all the time, stronger and deeper. Yeah, deeper is a good word. I like the word deeper. It's the same feeling of being underwater. Maybe it's just art. The more I paint, the more words I forget. Maybe at some point I'll forget how to speak completely. I feel like I'm slowly forgetting everything. Do you remember what you thought about things 3 or 4 years ago? I don't. A long pause ensues, during which time seems to bend around itself, almost tying itself into a knot. I don't think I've ever heard Rin talk this earnestly and for so long about anything before. It's like I'm fading away from the world. Rin's foot has stopped its work from the canvas and she's staring at her painting, unmoving, as if gazing at some faraway horizon. Sunlight briefly glints in the corner of her onyx eyes. Onyx? Her eyes are green! What? Something floats up into the top layer of Rin's being and she lets out a long breath. She blinks and it's gone. Paintings stay behind. When I look at my old things, I remember what I was thinking back when I made them. They make me feel like I can be with all past me's when I was a different me. I guess they are proof of my existence. Wow. I know that feeling. It's one of those, like, I want to leave a legacy kind of feelings. I don't think that's what's Rin feeling right now, but part of why I want to do a YouTube is because it's a good, like, I guess record of yourself. Because guess what? I film these regularly, like at least a week in between when I record these last time. Sometimes it's a few more weeks, but the thing is they're regularly enough in that they keep a good track of how I was at certain times of my life. I started this in the beginning of my college career, and you could look at myself back then, and I think I'm a significant amount different compared to then as I am now. I was more awkward then, I didn't talk as much then, and now I talk a lot more. I'm less awkward, I'm more sure of myself, I'm more willing to divulge my opinions and some anecdotes about myself. But if you look at myself then, I was awkward. I want to let the game speak for itself 100%. And add my own quips and jokes because I thought that's how you made videos. No, you make videos by allowing your personality to be the forefront and the game to supplement you. You use the game as a springboard to let yourself show. But the thing is, what Rin is doing here is that she uses her paintings as a record of herself because she looks at the painting and she remembers what she was thinking at the time. And it's the same thing with my videos. I often watch my old videos just as a form of nostalgia and be like, I know what I was thinking then. I know what I thought when I made this video. I know what I thought it was a good idea. It wasn't the best idea, but I did my best with what I had. And it was a good thing. It's a nostalgic feeling to look back at your old forms of art. She uses the exact same words Nomiya used when she spoke to us of the nature of art. I didn't think Rin was paying any attention back then. I wonder if she was listening, or whether she had heard the same passionate speech from Nomiya before. Either way, I feel overwhelmed. Boy, are you complicated. I would have taken up writing a diary. Her eyes quickly flicker in my direction, and then back to the painting, but she doesn't pick up the brush anymore. That's a great idea. Why didn't I ever think of that? Are you being sarcastic? What's sarcasm? I don't call her on the joke, if it is one. Right at the moment, Nomiya returns from his meeting. He waves to us a very melodramatic hello, mildly surprised at seeing me here along with his pet student. Walking with a boisterous gait to his desk, he drops his papers upon it. He picks up a handkerchief and cleans his glasses with incredibly meticulous care before walking over to us. Before he is within earshot of us, Rin says something to me in a quick, quiet voice. Change is the scariest thing in the world to me. That is real. That is something everyone's afraid of. That is something everyone's fucking afraid of, and don't you dare say you're not. And I seriously don't know if I want to change into a person who could do the thing the teacher wants me to do. I don't know if I could even if I wanted to. Hello again! Hello. What's going on? He smiles a bit sheepishly, looking at both of us with an uninhibited interest. Nothing. We were sort of talking about that thing with your acquaintances in the gallery for Rin's works, sort of. Oh, any decisions? I look at Rin, who's trying to arrange the bothered expression on her face to something else. Ooh. Looking at the walkthrough because I don't want to play this again. Rin, where's your walkthrough? There it is. Really? Anyway, I don't think I have much else to say other than you should go for it. And the proper answer is it isn't like you to hesitate like this. This isn't like you. You told me that people should do things they can't just because they can. And now you're being all wishy-washy yourself about something this important. I don't think I want to talk about this. I'm going. Rin stands up and trots out of the room without anyone saying anything more. I'm sorry, I think I made her upset. Haha, don't worry about it. She'll be fine. I'm sure. I'll talk to her later. Nomiya looks over at me over his circular pink glasses, smiling sympathetically. You've made friends with her then, Nakai? Well, something like that, I guess, depending on how you look at it. To be honest, I'm not really sure. It's more like me and Rin just tend to hang around each other irregularly, talking or not about something that more often resembles some twisted mockery of philosophy rather than normal everyday things that friends chat about. That is what friends do, they just talk about whatever. Shut up, Nakai. If you're friends with someone, you could talk about them about anything. Almost anything. Like, there are things they don't want to talk about, of course. But, like, there is a sort of bond you have in which you could talk about the stupidest things, philosophical bullshit, meta bullshit. You can talk about anything you guys really want, as long as you're both enjoying the conversation. You're friends, whether you know it or not. Well, that's good, isn't it? You're a new student, and we should be promoting integration into the student body and such. I can't remember all the buzzwords they spew at faculty and Yamaku Foundation meetings, but that's how it is. Tezuka isn't the most social person around these parts either. Yeah, that's definitely true. So she talked about my suggestion to you? Oh, no, not really. I think it's been more about me pressing her butt to decide something maybe I shouldn't have. No, I'm sure it's fine. I'm too soft with her, even when I shouldn't. I don't really know how to handle Tezuka. She's so independent and willful. I wonder if this is what every old geezer of an art teacher who got his hands on a young, fiery prodigy felt like. Put your tongue back in your mouth, please. He chuckles ironically to himself a little bit, turning to face Rin's latest work, which she left drying on the easel. She departed so abruptly that I wonder if she considers it finally finished. So let's see the painting then. He leans in closer, peering at the canvas. It draws you in, doesn't it? He stands back straight, his face a dreamy, nostalgic visage. I don't answer him, as he seems to be taking my agreement as a given. I sometimes stay here for hours just to look at Tezuka's paintings. She's really just prestigious at such a young age. I get shivers just thinking of what she could become in a few more years of refinement. God, I'm losing the voice. You asked what makes an artist, remember? This is it. They take a piece of the world and reshape it in their own image, metaphorically, of course. Looking at her makes you wonder what the world looks like through her eyes. It's a wonderful thing, to be young and full of passion. The most extraordinary time of your life. You would do well to remember that, Nakai. Yes, sir? It's so silly. People always ask artists, where do you get your ideas? As if ideas were something that's sold in the market for pocket change. You can't explain inspiration. For people like Tezuka, it's like breathing. It's an instinct. I have met maybe one or two of them with the same kind of raw potential, but no amount of potential will amount to anything if one doesn't work to realize it. Oh God, this guy reminds me of a professor I have in my college. It's practice, technique, skill. Draw for an hour every day for a few years, and even the most hopeless case can become a passable artist. That is true. It is so true. Tezuka is not brilliant because she was born with a natural talent for this kind of thing. She's brilliant because she works harder than everyone. Ever since she learned to hold a pen, most likely. And all of it with her feet, no less. Absolutely phenomenal. That is so true, though. For any artist out there who's like, oh, I can't do it, I'm not an artist, you just have to start. Take an hour out of every day and write. Take an hour out of every day and create something. Even if it's just a paragraph of a work, even if it's just a small doodle on a side in your margins of your paper. Every form of practice is practice, whether you know it or not. Silence finally lands in the clubroom as Nomiya lets himself get drawn back into Rin's painting, gently murmuring acceptance toward the still wet canvas. What kind of things do you paint yourself? As if waking from a reverie, he looks at me, surprised at my talking to him. Oh, I don't! Not anymore. I became an art teacher only after my career in the field came to an end. Now I just pass on the knowledge on the next generation. The way Nomiya answers is curious, both giving and withholding information. I feel like asking more, but he cuts in before I get the chance. Now you should run along, my boy. It's almost dinner time, isn't it? Yes, sir. Have a good evening. You too. And that's where I'm going to end the part for now. It seems like a good place to stop. But, I'm just going to say that, like, had I played this game before I became a writer, I I probably would not have understood any of that. I probably would have been, oh, that's weird. Artists are weird, and then moved on. But I personally related to all of that. It's not a natural talent that makes you a good writer, artist, photographer, anything. You can have the drive, but if you don't use it and make things, you're never gonna get good. If you have the desire to draw, to create, to write, do anything in the way that artists do, just do it. Like, even if it's like a shitty fanfic, if it's a silly doodle, anything. If the one thing I will always piece of advice I will always offer to people who want to do something creatively is that you have to just start. And the other, and like to add to that, like something that I will always tell people when they're starting out is that your first works, your first pieces, they're always gonna suck. They're always gonna suck. You have to throw away the inhibition of, oh my god, I'm not good. You have to throw that away. Because guess what? Every single artist on this planet looks at their work from years in their past and will say, God, what was I thinking? But they're going to be like, I'm so glad I did it. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more videos from me or from this series, hit the subscribe button. And you're not exiting the Shadyverse. My name is Shades. And if you want to do art, do art. See you guys next time. Bye.